Jennifer Wahab, Chair of HAR for 2022. I want to welcome you to this month's Global Interview Series. Every month, leaders from HAR's International Advisory Group will share their unique international real estate perspective and expertise with HAR members. I hope you enjoy this month's Global Interview.
My first international real estate transaction was with an incoming buyer who had actually, quite coincidentally, called me on a sign call. Back then, we didn't have the HAR apps that we have today, so most people wouldn't be able to, unless they logged on and find specifically a property, they would have to then navigate through the HAR website. But back then, we just had sign calls. And this fellow it happened to be from Mexico, called me and wanted some information about the property that I was listing. And it turns out that he was just one of the many people who ended up working at that company who were being transferred to Houston. So answering that phone call from a sign call and then being able to work with the foreign buyer, asking him certain questions, and I had already taken my CIPS designation course, so I already knew how many foreign buyers think and how they process the transactions, which is so different than what we're used to doing here. So I became his counselor, his consultant, his advisor. I educated him on the process, and as a result, he was very happy with the results of finding a property. And then guess what? He started referring me his colleagues that were moving up from Mexico City and were being transferred to Houston. And then I even started talking to their HR department. The guy in charge of the HR department loved the way I worked and processed the transactions and helped the employees of that company. So he actually started referring more people to me. So that's how my international portfolio started to grow. It was one of those things that you have to take extremely very good care of a client, because when he does, you become his realtor for life, and they refer you their brothers and sisters and friends and aunts and uncles, anybody. So yeah, that's how it got started. I would advise anybody and everybody who wants to expand their business by serving the incoming foreign buyers is to take the CIPS designation course. The CIPS designation course is a 5-day exhaustive and very, very detailed course on how to manage international buyers and how to manage listings in foreign countries, because it gives it a good snapshot of how the real estate transactions are conducted in other countries. Then, when we start working with these incoming buyers, for example, we already know what they think they could expect. So we have to then go into the process of educating them. Many foreign buyers don't have the same train of thought or philosophy or ideas of how to buy a home like we do. For example, many foreign buyers that work or in other countries don't have what we call a buyer's agent representation. They typically go directly to the listing agent, and then they just go ahead and throw their luck and see that the seller's agent doesn't, do anything inappropriate to the buyer, because the seller is represented by an agent who doesn't really have to worry about what the buyer thinks or says. He has to worry about his client. So the CIPS courses are definitely the best stepping stone to be able to work with foreign transactions and incoming buyers. And I recommend that course to anybody who wants to expand their business internationally. Most of my clients that come from other countries I've done by referral. And it's because once you take good care of an incoming buyer from, say, Saudi Arabia, he will refer you to people who come into our country to buy properties, as long as, of course, in our market. And that happens with every major, with every foreign buyer that comes in here. If he feels that he's been well served and has been taken good care of, he's going to refer you. That's one way to get referrals. The other one is to go to real estate events in other countries. If you prefer to work with a specific culture of a specific country because you know their language or you were raised in that country, that also is a big help, knowing the language. However, it doesn't stop you from getting the clients from other countries because you can use interpreters, and or many of those foreign buyers do speak English. So that's one other way to visit the other foreign countries. Go to the real estate events in those countries, and that expands your horizon because then you start meeting other real estate agents in other countries who have clients that are looking for properties in the US, whether it's Houston or Hawaii or Chicago or Miami. Totally different. One of the main things that buyers from other countries do not have is a representation agent or an agent who will represent them and work for their interests, because typically in those countries, if you're a buyer and you're looking for a house, typically what you do is you go contact the listing agent. Of course, we have a different approach. We use, of course, buyer's agent who work for the buyer and watch out for the buyer's interests. In those foreign countries, that concept does not exist. So one of the things that we have to do is educate the buyers that come in and tell them, look, I am going to be working for you. My job is to represent your best interests and find you the right property, because we have a cooperating system that is very seldom seen in other countries. That is true. We have a cooperating business our system is cooperation with other agents, which in some other countries, that concept of cooperation between brokers does not exist. So we have to show them that as a buyer's agent, our job is to work for them and represent them and find the right house for them. Global real estate is a fountain of benefit of business. Foreign buyers are not going to stop buying properties here, regardless of how the prices go. I know that in our domestic market, prices are crazy. A lot of new home buyers or new first-time home buyers are getting priced out of the market because of the quick increase of home prices, not just in Houston, but all over the country. But foreign buyers don't have that sense of it's out of reach, because they typically come from countries that the properties are worth are selling or paying much more money than what they would be buying here. So, for example, you have a buyer from South Asia, maybe from the country of India, or you have some very wealthy Chinese investors or people from other countries such as Canada or even the UK that are experiencing higher prices than we will probably ever see here in Houston, for example. So to them, buying a house that maybe went up $40 or $50 or $60,000 in the last year or so, they don't have that challenge. They don't have that obstacle. They're able to pay cash for a house. Many people bring, literally money transfers from other banks from other countries, and many of them don't even have a budget. They'll just buy a house if they like it, regardless of how much money the house costs. I've run into that.
Thank you for watching this month's Global interview. I hope you learned something new. Please be sure and attend our quarterly Global Labs and sign up for the HAR Global newsletter as well. You can contact Lori Carper at lori@har.com for more information. Thank you.